Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, and with this video, I'll be discussing my thoughts on episode 12 of the anime series Snow White with the Red Hair. For all intents and purposes, the season finale of this particular series, and we will be coming back with a second season in January. It has been confirmed as of the time of this recording, but this episode was just all kinds of adorable. Certain elements of the plot being very reminiscent of an episode of Three's Company, notwithstanding, it was just cute, funny, adorable from beginning to end. Of course, the idea that we're having this open castle day, like it's very much a festival episode in a sense, because you're allowing all of these townspeople to come in, experience the kingdom from the inside, and you have shop owners who can open up shop and sell their wares and goods, and everything's about. It's basically like a vacation day. Have fun, let your hair down, and that's very much what's happening throughout the course of this episode. And I loved it. I loved the warmth and just, how happy the outcome was every step of the way. And absolutely the ridiculousness of, as Shirayuki gets some time off from her herbalist duties and everything, she wants to sort of get closer and see this, open castle festival kind of situation. And you got Zen prowling around in guard disguise, like Metal Gear up in this joint. I was absolutely loving it. Just to be closer to her and share some of that time with her. And I love how, they're exchanging these very blushing words. They're still very much timid around each other, even after their confession. They're still very nervous around each other. And I just think it's so adorable, but then of course they're interrupted by Obi, Kiki, and Mitsuhide. They've caught up to him and everything, and you see Zen is just completely ticked that that's the case. And they spend the day together, all five of these characters. I loved that it wasn't just about Zen and Shirayuki. I mean, Mitsuhide is like an older brother to Zen and like one of his best friends. And I love that friendship. At one point Mitsuhide is talking to Shirayuki about the conversation both she and Zen had, and then the conversation subsequently that he had with them about their making this, confession to each other, and that they want to dedicate their lives to each other. And I love how very much like elder brotherly, he's like patting Shirayuki on the head. In the flashback, we see he lunges at Zen and hugs him and is so happy for him. I love the rapport of these characters as they get to let their hair down. And speaking of hair, it's very interesting that Shirayuki has taken to covering hers with a hood because of all the sort of ill advances she's had to experience. And per the dialogue with her and Zed toward the end of the episode, we find that this is something she had to get used to even in her homeland. It's not something, exclusive to this new land that she now inhabits. The people advancing toward her and trying to use her or be attracted with ill devices to that hair and everything, as we see in this episode. It happens again. But I mean, the idea that her grandparents instilled in her the strength that we see in her resolve as a character, her being a modern heroine of sorts, the idea that, her grandparents rather, were very much of the mind to say, someday we're not going to be around, and you need to kind of have a self-resolve where you can be appeased by whatever it is you can accomplish best, whatever your best qualities are. Do for yourself. Don't depend on others. Be strong for yourself within yourself and your capabilities. Be assured in them. And I love that because, again, it's just a solidification of her being a character as a viewer of this anime that you can aspire toward and admire. It's something, unfortunately, all too rare. She's not wielding dual blades and cutting people's heads off and killing vampires or romancing them or whatever is the equivalent this day and age. She's very much sort of a classical heroine, and I love that. And I love the respectability between her character and Zen, and they are so well matched together and to be admired for that. And we see that Obi actually has snuck off to be a little less than honorable to take part in a martial arts tournament under a fake name, a false, ID and everything like that, which he subsequently wins because he's all kinds of badass. I love Obi. And then I'm kind of like chagrined a little bit because he gives Shirayuki, once Zen has to go back to work or he has to make his princely appearance with his brother Izana, pulling back Shirayuki's hood and giving her the little hair ornament thing and putting it on her and everything like that. And just like, Obi, come on, don't do it. You're not going to win this one. You're not going to, stop getting close to her in that estimation. I like that Zen acknowledges that it's kind of frustrating to him. He just comes out and says it. Of course, Shirayuki was kind of like, like, I don't know if she understood what he meant by that. But of course, that Three's Company-esque plot with this troupe of actors putting on a play, and of course, the lead actress playing the princess, breaks her foot, taking a misstep and everything, requiring the services of Ryu and, Shirayuki. And I love seeing Ryu. I wish we could see more of him. He's very understated, not only as the character himself, but just as a character in general. I want to see more of him. And more of the relationship and that dynamic between he and Shirayuki, because there's a friendship there that they touched upon. And I want to see more, delved into that and expounded off of that. But of course, they see her hair, and she's all wide-eyed. She thinks this actress is cool for wanting to be such a renowned actress and get the acclaim of not only the audience, but the princes, and she wants to be, basically unabashedly loved by them, and all this kind of stuff. And Shirayuki's just wide-eyed and like, that's so cool, and wins over this woman who's embarrassed in that moment when she realizes she's being watched as she's talking about all of this. But then, of course, they decide to substitute Shirayuki for that role in this play. They couldn't find any other woman in the kingdom. I guess, it was kind of a time-sensitive thing where they were coming up on the scene where she needed to appear. And, of course, you got the director-showrunner dude being very much sort of less than honorable. He's like, I want that hair to be seen. That's going to put us through the roof. We're going to become world-renowned as an acting troupe and all this kind of stuff. He's instructing the guy pretending to be the prince to do this. And I absolutely love, Zen is like, no. I can't afford them any accord in this. This is not right. He ends up, sort of bum rushing the guy who's supposed to be the protector at night, the Obi in the play, if you will, and go after, effectively this prince on the stage. He's got kind of the silver mask thing from Arslan Senki going on, only it's gold. He literally jumps from the top of the stage down onto it, breaks them apart, Shirayuki and this actor playing the prince, because any moment now he's going to, pull back that hood that she's wearing as the princess on stage and just ruin the entire affair. Even Obi has the conscience to say, no, that's not right, to expose her hair when she doesn't want that to happen. And what sort of acclaim, they would probably get would then be undermined by Zen anyway. He'd be ticked off and be like, get out of here, But I just thought it was absolutely romantic as hell. How he puts his arm around her. He's got the sword. He's pointing at the prince. They have to have their little play fight. Shirayuki's just completely gobsmacked as she walks off stage like, what the hell is happening? What's going on? They explain and all this kind of stuff. And I almost died when they show Kiki and Mitsuhide watching from afar. They're already sort of like, whoa, what's Shirayuki doing on stage? But then when they see it Zen, you got Mitsuhide just face palming. He can't even handle it. And then, of course, later on, when they run into him again, he's like so ticked off. He's yelling at Zen for getting involved and doing all that kind of stuff. And I loved it. I loved the idea that Shirayuki, again, we see internally that there is some conflict present. Even though it's everything she wants to be with Zen, there is still a part of her, as she sees, them up on sort of that dais or whatever it is, looking over the crowd for this open castle day. And she's part of the crowd, looking up at him and Izana. She says there's a part of her that still feels like she is that at arm's length to him. He constantly reaches out to her and he constantly is trying to be there for her, but there's only so far they can go with that because of his princely position. And there's a point toward the end of the episode where she's talking internally, her monologue sort of about our days to come going to be as peaceful as this day has been. And of course they zoom in on Izana and they zoom in on the one guy who was giving her trouble when she first came to the kingdom, whose name escapes me off the top of my head, but there are still going to be hurdles to come, and it's not going to be all happily ever after as of this point. And that intrigues me, of course, the ongoing potential love triangle with Obi just, getting closer to her and taking steps closer. Just like, come on, Obi, give it up now, But it would be interesting, I'm just going to put it out there, to see like a whole 180-degree turn where we find out somehow Zen and Shirayuki can't be together because she's not of some kind of royal lineage, and then, down the line, they split up and Obi ends up with her. That would be quite interesting, even though that's not what I'm banking on and not what I'm hoping for. But it's just a stray thought I had watching this episode. And it ends with just sort of a magical quality as, everything is said and done. And he's basically, Zen has made his princely duties, his princely appearance. He's back in his disguise, and he's going to be hanging out with Shirayuki again, and she very much wants to see these like lamps that they are sending off into the sky. It's a almost very magical romantic vibe, at least for me, that they end all these characters. The story ends, at least for this season, with them all together. Watching this unfold and the playful banter between them, and it's like a family. We've seen a family come together, not just two lovers, starstruck though they may be. I love that we see all of these characters coming together in their own way. I mean, even, again, talking about Ryu, there's that one shot where he's walking alone in the corridor, and Garrett calls him over, hang out with us, let's just take a break and look at all of this wonder that's going on around us. And so as far as, a season 1 ending, a finale goes, thoroughly enjoyed it. It was pitch perfect as far as I was concerned. Less drama, yet there were still dramatic elements to do with the unfolding internal, thoughts and conflicts in these characters. And it was fun. It was crazy. It was like... just delightful all the way around. And I love that. It definitely has me gunning for being excited, when the series comes back in January. I'm definitely going to be there with, bells on and just ready to see where the story goes from this point on. It has been a tremendous, heartwarming series from its beginning. I have very much admired, Shirayuki and Zen as characters singularly as they've been trying to forge ways to come together, all of the trials and tribulations and hurdles they've had to deal with. The surrounding characters, Obi, Mitsuhide, Kiki, Garrett, Ryu, I have loved all these characters, even a character like Raj, who's like, sort of the antagonist. There are aspects to his character that make me curious, and I actually want to see more of him, so that's where I'm left with the end of this. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below what you thought of episode 12 of Akagami no Shirayuki-hime, or Snow White with the Red Hair. For all intents and purposes, as I say, the season 1 finale. If it was something that, won you over as well, if you enjoyed it as much as I did. If not, why not? Let me know in the comments below. Love having the conversation with you guys. And so yeah, that'll be pretty much it for me on this. Hope this video finds you well. And I'll catch you all later. Peace.